Hey man, this is chess Endgames practice mode. Um, what we do is just solve endgame problems for a given amount of time, and hopefully we'll learn something, which is always good. And if we do, we'll try to improve our chess game because chess is fun. It's meditation for the brain. I guess every kind of meditation is meditation for the brain. Yeah. So this is a rook and a pawn against the rook. And the white rook is hanging, the black rook is hanging. Question is, can I just take the white rook? It takes, then f4 and king e4, f3, and pawn marches. Am I doing it right? King takes f1, king takes d5, and f4. Am I playing f4 there or something else? Well, I really think I should play f4. King d5, yeah, f4, and could white play something else entirely? What happens if king takes f1 and king takes d5 and then f4 and then king d4 or king e4? I think king d4 and e4 is the same. So king takes f1, king takes d5, f4. Isn't that just winning? I could be... Okay, so the deal is I can, of course, keep the pawn. No, keep the rook. I could play king takes f1, or I could play rook c5 check, or rook d4 check. Is that it? Doesn't seem... No? Yeah, king takes f1, king takes d5. No. King takes f5, king takes f1, king takes d5. I think I'm missing something here. I really think I'm missing something. I don't know what. But I do think that it seems a little too good to be true to just take the rook and then king takes the rook and then run the pawn. This seems very suspiciously easy. Is it that easy? I think it could be. I also think white could have some tricks. And what are the tricks? If I take the rook, then there is no check. But if I take the rook, then white takes the rook. White has to take the rook. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So I'm just gonna take. Am I just gonna take? No. Let's go over this one more time. King takes f1. King takes d5. f4. King e... Oh, king e4. Yeah, king takes d5 and then king e4, and then my pawn gets caught there. So king takes f1, king takes d5, and then pawn f4. Pawn f4 and then king e4 is a draw. Because now my king is on f1 and the white king is on e4. And then I can only draw. So question is, do I play rook c5 check first? Rook c5, king c5, king f1, and then king d4, and my king is too far away. Yeah, I think that's it. The black king is too far away to really catch to really escort the pawn properly to the promotion field. Square. It's called square, yeah. Why is it called square? Because it is a square. Both all four sides are equal. And there's 490-degree angles, so that's a square. I think that's the definition of a square. At least in my layman's terms. So I gotta do something else than just take the rook. I can't take the rook because then it's a draw. And I could not play rook c5 because the pawn is too far away. And the king is... yeah. King is not close enough. So I need to do something else. I get a feeling I should keep the threat on the rook, but I have to do something else. So maybe I play rook f5. Rook a5, and then the threat on f1 is still there, and my rook is not attacked, and my pawn is still guarded. I think I have to do a lot of times a lot of things at the same time. Like save the rook, attack the other rook, and save or just guard, protect the pawn. I mean, how do I do all those things at the same time? I was thinking that rook f5 did the job, because rook f5, then if king b4, do I then go? No. Rook a5, king b4. I don't know. This got complicated. Maybe if I have a sip of coffee, I'm gonna do better. So the only move that really saves the pawn is either rook. It's either rook e5 or rook a5. I can't go to b5 or c5. But if I go to e5, then what does white do? I think either rook e5 and rook a5. The king can go to c8 Your king can go to b4 or e4. So the rook is attacked no matter on either of those two places. So rook e5, yeah. Rook e5 or rook a5. Because I have to guard the pawn. Wow, we're running 10 minutes into this problem. And that's, I mean, at the first glance, this looked really easy. But it got complicated the more I looked into it. And that's interesting. I think this is a really deep problem. Yeah, and rook a5, I just have to go... So rook a5, king b4. Then I go to e5. And if I go to e5 first, then king d4, and then I go to a5. So it's... No matter what I do, I end up on either king... No, either on e5 or a5. But I can't decide which one is better. Or maybe I'm just making a horrible mistake. So yeah, I'm probably not taking the rook. And I do think that e5 and a5, they look the same. Why do they look the same? Okay, I gotta play something, I think. Okay. And now, so now my goal changes from where does it change? So now I have to think about the rook b1 maneuver. If rook b1, then I guess I go king a... No, king... If rook b1, I go king f1. And then if rook b1, then rook e1. And then I guess he goes rook b5. But then I have no way of defending the pawn. I cannot defend the pawn, so I have to push the pawn. And then he goes rook f5. And then I go rook. Then I go rook e4. Is that it? Wow. So I go f4 now. Is it too soon? I'm thinking that's too soon. I think this problem is really tough. You got a whole lot more interesting when they played the rook b1. I did not really see rook b1. And what's the point behind rook b1? I should probably think about that. What's the threat? So rook b2. And rook b5 is not an option because the rook takes b5, king takes b5, and then f4. So is it really rook b1, and then rook b2, and rook b4? And do I block with my own rook? Or do I run the king up the board? Yeah, it could go... I can go king f3, and then king b3, and then king f4. But then I'm blocking my own pawn, and yeah, and then white can play rook f1 check, and then And then we have this weird, annoying little dance on the first rank. So the king has to go either behind the pawn via f4, g5, and then f6. Yeah. I guess I go f4 now. Problem with pawn moves, I don't know if you noticed, but pawn moves cannot be taken back. So if I move my pawn, that's a permanent move. Because rooks and kings, you can always move them back and forth. But a pawn never, ever, ever moves backwards. You may have heard of the concept of a backward pawn, but that's not because it moves backwards, obviously. It's just a name. Just a name. Has nothing to do with its movements. It's just backward pawn. Yeah. Doesn't go backwards. No pawn has ever done that. Maybe there was a chess move, a chess rule that said you can move pawns back and forth. Maybe it was. What's the history of chess? What's the history of chess moves? What's the history of pawn moves? I know they introduced the en passant move quite recently. Relatively speaking compared to the history of chess. I mean, the game is a couple of thousand years old. 3,000 years? No. 2,000? Maybe older. So yeah, let's just drink coffee. And then we play f4. Yeah, I think I'll play f4, and then question is, if I play f4, is that too soon? Yeah, I do think I'm gonna play f4, and then I'm gonna just run the king up the board, because I can now go and hide behind the... And now we make the bridge with rook f5. Yeah, now I make the bridge with f4, rook f5. And then the rook is behind the pawn. And the king is, I think it's okay, well placed. It's not great, but it's an improvement. Oh, excuse me. I just had a huge meal. Probably not the greatest idea to do that before recording a video, but yeah, it was a spur of the moment. Improvising, I guess. Yeah, rook f5, because then a rook is behind the pawn, and if king goes to e5, I just move the rook back. Yeah, rook f5, and then if king e4, then rook f8, and if the rook tries to check, I may just block with the pawn on f3. Only real checking move in this position is rook b3, and I'm not really concerned about b3 because I can play f3. And if I manage to get the rook behind the pawn, which I'm thinking of, I think I'm gonna do that. Wow, we're just passing 20 minutes on this first problem. So this is kind of tough. And now I just go back to f8. Or not back, but I'll retreat to f8. And retreat to f8, and if rook b3, I'll just play f4. But then he plays rook b2, and then I'll play f2. And then if rook b3, I'll just play king g2. And now I'm getting closer. I think I'm getting closer in this variation. Or he could just go here, yeah. That seems to work. Question is, can I go f3? f3 and then king... no. f3 and then rook g7 check. And then I go king f2. Then white has no checks left. I can go f3. f3 and then rook b3, no. I'm not playing king f2 because of rook b2 check. That's not what I want to do. So I play f3. I'll play f3 and then rook g7 check and then king f2. Or is f3 too soon? Yeah, we have f3 and then rook b3. But then I will play king g2. And it's going very slowly, but I'm thinking I'm making progress. In my head, I'm making progress. Yeah, it was f3, rook g7. I'll go rook king f2. I said king f2. And I have to go king f2. But yeah, king f2, rook b7, king f1. That's a little too optimistic, I think. Yeah. I might just be losing with king f2. I'm not losing, but drawing. Because I have to go back. King f2, rook b7. Because I can't go king h4. Because then I'm cutting off the king from the pawn. So I think the only move is f2. Question is now, can I go king f1? King f1 and then... or maybe I'll go rook e8 and then king f1? Because if I go rook e8 now, then the king has to... yeah, the king is cut off from the e file. And then I can coordinate the king and the pawn better. Because if I go king f1 now, if I go king f1, will I ever be able to play f2? King f1, rook b7, f2, rook b1 check. I think I can do that. And now I'll play f2. Wow, this is a really complicated rook endgame. Rook and pawn endgame. I mean, how complicated is this problem really? So, f2, rook a1. I'll just go king g2. Maybe I go rook e8 now. Do I go rook e8, rook a1, and then rook e1? No. Rook e1, and the rook is not behind the pawn, but in front of the pawn. I want the rook behind the pawn. Yeah, because now the rook is better placed than on e1. I want to maintain the rook behind the pawn, and I think the king is okay where it stands. So I'll just play rook f. No, I'll just play. Do I play rook f5 or king g2? Rook f5, king g2, or f2? I really want to play f2, but the question is that too soon? f2, rook a1, and then king g2, and then rook a7, and then I go f1. No. Yeah, I think I'll play f2, and now I'll have to just maneuver the rook into a better place. Because I can't go king g2 because of rook g7 check. So do I go rook e8 now? Rook e8, king f3, rook f8, king e3. I'm just shuffling. I find it really hard to progress with the pawn and the rook in these types of positions. But yeah, rook endgames are tricky. So if I go king e1, then just rook a1 is mate. Do I run the rook up the board? Rook e8, f3, rook f8, e3. Yeah. King g1, rook g7. So anyway I move my king, it's either mate or check. And that's not what I want to do, but I also want to maintain the pawn. I can't move the pawn ahead. Obviously the king is blocking it, but the question is, how do I get my king out of there? If I play rook g8, then I'm guessing that rook f7 is annoying. Rook g8, rook f7, or rook a2. That's not it. That's not right. So I want to keep the rook behind the pawn. But where to? I think I need to play Rook F5. And now I have to do this annoying little thing. And now I can sack my Rook. Yeah. Do I want to do that? No. Do I play Rook E8? Yeah, because if I sack my Rook, then white just takes the queen, and it's a draw. Let's move this mouse cursor away. Yeah. I messed up this problem very badly. So now I have to move the Rook. I can't just sack the Rook. Do I play Rook E6 or no? Rook E6 or Rook E2? No. Ah, man, I think I have to go Rook E8 now. Yeah. And if I go up, then it's check, yeah. So I go back here, and then I'll go here. And yeah, it sucks, but I only have a Rook now. I should have had a Rook and a Queen. Yeah, I should have had a Rook and a Queen. So I played Rook E5. Better was Rook A5. I thought Rook A5 and Rook E5 was the same. So now, okay, he can go F4. King G3. Yeah. F3. Yeah, this looks a lot cleaner than my continuation. Now there's no stopping the pawn. King H3. King G2? G2? Rook G3, right? Okay. I thought this problem was I thought you could have a queen and a rook. I guess I was wrong. Wow, that's a tough one. Rook and a pawn, right? And we get a similar problem. The last problem was rated 1660 or something. So it's yeah, above my level, current level. There's a lot of rook and pawn endgames in this set. And at this level, around the 1400 to 1600 range, there's a lot of rook endgames. So what you want to do is to just get good, and then you can progress into endgames that are, in my opinion, more interesting. So it's black again. Similar position to the last problem, But this time the rook is better placed. King is very well placed. Could not have asked for a better placed king. So if the rook was on the g file, if the rook was in g5, then the bridge is, you see this bridge? Yeah. And I can play king g2, and then I'll play I can play king g2 and be totally safe from any check. So I can play g2, king g2, and be safe. King g2, and if something like king d2, then what? King g2, king d2, rook maybe e6. I don't want to go to e4. I want to go to either e6 or e5, because then I get my rook behind that pawn, and I think that's the way to do it. At least that's what I've read. Let's hydrate and have a. You gotta have a coffee. You just gotta have coffee. If you're a modern man like myself, you probably drink coffee. Probably the cheapest way to stimulate your system. Let's just call it a system. Let's just call your body a system. So this, yeah, I can go king g2, or I could go. I'm not going rook e1, rook d1, rook d1, king e2, rook d7. King d2. I'm liking king g2, so I think I'm gonna play that. Now I can even go g3. Or do I go rook d1 and then rook d7? King. Maybe king g1. I think that's a little. No, that's a blunder. That's a big mistake. I don't think king g. No, I don't think g4, g3 is a mistake either. I just don't see how white deals with g3. Because if g3, then g3, then rook moves. g3, rook g8. Okay, so I can't get my rook behind the pawn. Is that a problem? I don't get the rook behind the pawn via e7 and g7, because if I play g3 now, then rook g8 just prevents my rook from getting behind the pawn. So that's a clue that my g3 move may not be good. King g1 was not good, and hang on, can I play rook f1? Rook f1, rook g8, g3, rook d1 check maybe? No. Yeah, I think I can play g3. Excuse me. And now I'll play... I have to play rook f1. Rook g8 or rook f1 or... Yeah, I need to play rook f1 now. And then I try to... Yeah, and then rook f3 and then something else. Rook f5 or rook f6. Really? Rook f5, rook f6, rook f4. Rook f5, rook f6. Yeah. It's a very hard problem. I don't know how I'll proceed. Do I go rook g6, rook f6? It seems kind of wrong. Or do I go rook a3? What I mean to ask is, should I stay on the f file or should I stay on the third rank? I mean, it's the 6th rank if you count it from black's perspective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But officially, it's the 3rd rank. So I have to stay on the 3rd rank. And I want to play king g1. I think if I stay on the 3rd rank, then I'll be better off. But if I play rook f7, I'm not really doing anything. Yeah, I'm a little too impatient. So now I can play king g1. King g1 and yeah. Because now the white king is cut off from the f file. Oh, I see. You don't have to stay on the f file to block the white king from entering the f file. Because now that e3 is blocked, there is no way of getting around. And my king is blocking f1 and f2. And they're joining forces on f3. So I think I can play king g1. And then rook... no? I can play king d1 because there is no way of stopping the pawn from getting to g2. Aha. Yeah. But I'm still blocking f3. So I'm getting I'm getting into it now. No, that was not it. My problem is, I guess, rook f4, rook a6. Do I go rook a4 and then rook e3 check? No. I think I'll have to go rook a6 now. And then I go rook f6. No, I shouldn't have done that. Should I have gone e6 now? Rook e6 and then king g... Rook e6 and then king... Rook e6 and king f1. Aha. I can go here now? No, I shouldn't have gone that. I should have gone here and then... Oh. Maybe it's h2. Wow, this is a tough problem. Yeah, king h2. And then I go king g3 and f3 and... I either go rook f2 or rook hg2. I think f2 is better. Because, no. So now I go here. No, what am I missing? Am I going f? I'm not going f6, so I'm probably doing... Then I go e5. And now I can go here. And here. And promote. Yeah. Wow. What a way to end the session. 2 problems. And this was a 1489. It was way above my level. It was very tough. Yeah. That was a really... That was a tough problem, the previous one. But I think I'll wrap it up right now. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.